Alright, so people are asking me, what is all that stuff? Yeah, it's a lot of stuff going on over here in these four racks. Basically, this is all of the what we call outboard gear, which what we do is we'll take individual sounds and run them through various different pieces of gear to basically make them sound better when we're mixing. So I'll just go one at a time here. So, first of all, at the top of each is just, see those top things? These things. Those are just Furman line conditioners, which are power strips, glorified power strips, who help protect the other equipment. Other equipment is plugged into all that stuff. Okay, so the top thing is a GML EQ, and at a later date I'll go into what all this stuff actually does. I'm just going through the list of what everything just is at the moment. Second thing is a TC Electronics Reverb 4000. Third thing is a tuner, a fancy guitar tuner or bass tuner. The next is another TC Electronic. That's an M3000 reverb unit. The next thing is the that's what I run my piano through. It's called a Millennia HV3C mic pre. Piano through that thing sounds incredible. Next is a vintage Neve mic pre from a 1272 module. The next thing is a Grace mic pre, model 201. Yeah. And this bottom thing is just a patchbay audio cables going from here to there, patching things together. Okay, top of the next rack. This is a GML compressor. We'll talk about what a compressor does at a later date. The next four things these are SSL channels, basically emulating SSL mixing board. These are just four strips out of a whole mixing board. Normally mixing boards can be 32 channels up to 96 of these things. I have four. So there are mic pre's, EQs, compressors, gates, filters, all kind of stuff within each one of those. Next thing is a Brent Averill 1073 mic pre and EQ. Next two things are the distressors. This and that. I have two of those. That's a compressor. I think that's the model. Empirical Labs EL8. Two of those. What's cool about these? Everyone loves these because there's a button. It's bright blue. It's called Nuke. Yeah. It's the coolest LED in the whole studio. Look at that. Ah. So when you really want to jack up a sound on something, you nuke it. Awesome. Okay. Next thing under that is called the Transient Designer. And that, what's cool about this box, it's actually 4 in 1. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. And each one only has 2 knobs. Add attack, take away attack, add sustain, take away sustain. So let's say you have a snare drum and you want it to be more attacky. You know, I'll actually demonstrate that later. And sustain, so you can make a snare drum actually last longer, as opposed to anyway. Okay, yeah, thanks for bearing with me there. The bottom is a remake of a old. This looks like it's from the '60s, but it's a brand new version of a LA2A. It's a leveling amplifier made by Teletronics. Yeah, old school VU meter there. That's awesome. Okay, I actually have two of those. There's number 2 in the next rack. Okay, so we'll go back up. This is the third rack here. The top 2 things are, these are called the Dangerous 2-bus. It's sort of hard to explain what those do for technically savvy people. Those are analog summing boxes. Basically, I come out 32 channels of Pro Tools into those, and then out of that is my master stereo mix, if that makes any sense. Okay. Next thing is an SSL compressor. It's just a stereo compressor. You can run a whole mix through it, or you can run, say, a drum set through it. Sounds pretty cool. Next thing I think I showed you in the last one, this is an Apogee Rosetta 200. It's a analog to digital converter. That's basically, I take recorded sounds like a vocal or a sax or a piano or whatever, and it gets converted to digital and then goes into Pro Tools. So it's actually just a higher end conversion than going direct into Pro Tools. Okay, it sounds really good. These things are API, made by API, and they are EQs. API has a certain kind of sound to the way their EQ sound, and I like those. They're kind of a little grittier. Next box, this is a old school TC Electronic TC2290 delay. You'll see these in most recording studios around the world. Just kind of a good delay sound. A delay meaning if you hit a thing, it'll just that's what a delay does. Alright, that's the LA2A number 2. Rack number 4. Okay, this is an Avalon AD2055 stereo EQ. It's really good sounding. I normally run the stereo bus, so I'll come out of those two, stereo out into that EQ, the final mix. And then right below that is another thing made by Empirical Labs, the EL7. It's called the Fatso Jr. That's a compressor. Again, it's a stereo compressor, and that just kind of fattens up the whole sound of the mix. It's pretty cool. Below that, this is kind of an older piece of gear, the Alesis Master Link. Yeah, we used to record to that Final Masters because it could record a very high quality, a 24-bit 96K. But we don't need to use that anymore because we're actually rolling that in Pro Tools now. And this is a digital patchbay, kind of a custom thing I had made for the studio that can route digital signals between different boxes. Instead of running physical cables from the backs of things to the backs of things, we routed it all through this, yeah, we call it a digital patchbay. Below that's an amplifier for a pair of speakers that I don't have set up at the moment. So that's the gear racks. Okay. Someday I'll talk about what everything actually does, and I'll demonstrate that. Okay, see ya.